I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And I'm Becca Otis with Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Statesville, North Carolina. And welcome to Wheel Talk.
All right. Hello, everybody. We're live. Welcome to this is actually the first time we're recording for the new season of the podcast. I don't know exactly if this will be the first episode that's out, but welcome to the new season. We have a guest today, welcoming Laura
Welcome.
Thank you.
out of Utah. We've seen her many times at ClayCon West. Saw her do a presentation this past year, well, 2026 at ClayCon. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. I don't know anything about this topic, and I'm sure our audience would love to know about it as well. So, um, Laura, how do you want to introduce yourself? How do you like to
It's a great
let folks
question. I
know who
don't
you
really.
are?
I could just give you the gist of me. My name's Laura Hall. I have a bachelor's of fine arts and a master's of arts administration with emphasis. Well, the bachelor's of fine arts has emphasis in ceramics, and my master's degree. I thought it'd be fun to learn about the business side of art. It's a lot, but it's perfect if you have a brain for that. I I struggled, but grant writing was my favorite class out of the entire program.
Your favorite class?
It was
Whoa.
it's one thing that I understood because it had to
That
do
sounds like a
with
pretty good class, honestly. Like that would probably I don't know if is that like an entry level class that a student that is getting a bachelor's could take if they wanted, or
possibly.
is that only a master's level?
I only saw it available in my master's program. I hadn't seen it before, but I did. So I went through. So my degrees are from Southern Utah University, and they had a bridge program. And so I could take my master's classes my senior year, so I could pay lower price for the master's courses. So I took the grant writing when I was still getting my BFA.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So
So you're just like, oh, you're gonna get a master's so you can start taking some of those classes you're gonna need. Because you'd
yeah,
already basically finished your degree, or you were like one class away or two classes away, so you just added those to it.
yep, pretty much.
Okay.
And grant writing was easy enough for me to be able to still create and then write, because it
Hmm.
has a lot to do with writing and all that fun stuff. Figuring out your
Okay.
needs.
There was like a there's a class in my bachelor's program that I did not expect to enjoy, but it was technical writing. It was basically like writing how-to guides and writing instruction manuals essentially and stuff like that so that you're like specific enough, but it's also broken down so you can explain something at length,
That would have been
That
which
like
makes
the
a lot
grant
of
writing
sense.
book.
which probably doesn't really seem that shocking to people,
Yeah,
but I did enjoy it. Enjoy it a lot.
I'm so surprised.
So
I could see it. I really
yeah,
can.
the detail.
But you're also good with words, Ryan. So I'd be like, oh, these instructions make perfect sense now.
Hmm.
Laura, I would disagree. I
I don't know if I'm better with written words or spoken. I would rather talk, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if I come across I don't know. It's hard to know how much to say to be like, do you fill in the gaps? Do you understand? Or do I need to spell it out?
yeah, that is true.
Well, when putting together the presentation for ClayCon, I was like, okay, I can't. So, like, my papers that I was like, okay, go from here. I had two papers. You can't even see what's on them because I have the blur effect on because my office is a mess. But it was two papers. I was like, okay, I have to give them just enough information not to put them to sleep, but to like catch them. But like, I got to stop if I see people snoozing. And so, because the business side is not necessarily the entertaining side.
Hmm.
What
Ryan
are
was
the
like
people snoozing?
the one that was talking.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I want to know this or I want to know that or what's holding you back or how, you know. Okay. So what other kinds of classes are you learning about in arts administration? Is it
Oh,
more the business of being an individual artist, or is it more working in an organization that does
working in
programming and stuff?
organizations.
Okay,
So
yeah.
their focus was nonprofit. And because I wasn't all for nonprofit, I wanted to know how to do for profit. Uh, when I did the things for my assignments, I tried to think of it both ways. But there was accounting for arts, there was marketing, there was advocacy, there was business law. That one killed me.
Oh my God.
Yes.
You
Business
guys,
law.
every time I opened that book, I was like, no, no. But I still did good in the class. It was a lot.
Whew.
So
Sounds
was
like
the accounting. David even tried to help me because he does like he's the numbers guy.
Hmm.
He was like, I don't know how to help you, and I was like, well, that didn't help. So also sorry, I'm getting over the cold from hell that's going around.
nice.
So I have a
So
nice deep voice.
you mentioned Southern Utah. You're still in Utah, correct?
Correct.
And where are you at in where what
I'm in
city is
Cedar
that?
City.
Cedar City.
Yeah, so it's 45 minutes north of St. George.
Okay.
If you drive from St. George to Salt Lake, you pass it.
It's the hill people of St. George.
It's the hill.
It is.
It's
It's
like
definitely
almost a
more redneck.
Zion sort of. It is it right off the highway like near Zion sort of?
Well, okay. No, Zion is a little farther south still. If you go to Bryan Head Resort, it's
Hmm.
right off the highway on your way to Bryan Head.
Okay. Yeah, so the Claycon West is like a home game. That's why
Yeah,
you got to hit it every time.
that's why I keep going to Clay Commons because I was like, I
Nice.
can afford that.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
So, so you did the class in school, the masters as well. Are you
Yes.
actively, what are you doing actively in your day job or your ceramics and all of that? Are you doing things with the grant writing still, or is it just kind of like a side thing that you're pursuing
It's a
and
side
learning
thing.
about? Yeah.
So I sub the high school art classes up here in Cedar. So there's like one, two, three, four local high schools that I sub for, and only the art classes. And then I am an adjunct professor for three online high school classes that they get college credit for. So intro to visual arts, intro to art history, and photography, because
Wow.
photography is one of my many
Mm.
degrees. And then I I don't actually have a business for grant writing, but I do love to help others find grants that they qualify for and help them apply for it. Uh, Ryan asked at the conference how many I've actually gotten, and it was four. But that also
Nice.
counts like the ones that I've helped people get. Like
Hmm.
they got it, so I'm gonna count it because I helped.
That's
But
right.
myself, I've gotten three. So
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Can you share what the grants were for or and
yeah,
like maybe how much money they were for? Well, like were they specific grants and like the money associated with them?
yeah. So one was to put on the teen camp that I put on for my master's degree. One was to start a ceramic business, but we haven't received that one because we haven't found a building for it yet. But we have it waiting for us. And then shoot, now my mind went blank. Let me go through the steps in my head. Do you remember the other one, David? Oh, and I got one through SUU for my senior BFA show. And oh, and then I helped the ceramics department at SUU. So my professor was trying to get extra grants to build a bigger facility or to help pay for traveling artists to come visit and teach. And so I helped with that, and we were able to get a grant to help bring them in and actually pay them. So that way it wasn't on their dime. So,
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
How much were those different grants
oh,
for?
um, so there was one that was
The teen camp.
the teen camp was I'm not supposed to tell you, but it was over $500 for that one because they
Okay.
only give out 500 max. But that one was
Mhm.
500 plus.
About 500-ish, yeah.
Same with the second one. Um, the third one was 250, and the one for the program was 10,000. So
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was thinking program wise, like that one's
yeah,
probably a big one.
it was 250 per traveling artist to 2,500, sorry, per traveling artist. So that's 10.
Wow. Okay. And all of those were all of those state specific grants, or were
Um,
they?
yes. So those ones, so the first two were, no, the first three were Cedar City. The fourth one was, I think, the state. So we went through Cedar City Arts Council for the first three, and the second one was Utah Museum and Arts or Arts and Museum.
Okay.
So that one's a little bit harder to get. But I also pay for Grant Watch, which has a whole bunch of grants for each state,
Hmm.
multiple states for
I
different.
Googled that earlier today and was wondering what it would come up with for Kentucky. Obviously, a lot of it is behind a paywall, so I couldn't see it, but it kind of like makes it vague of it looks like there's a lot on there. I'm sure there's a
Oh yeah.
lot that apply nationwide and they just say that it's like related to Kentucky because it applies to you, but yeah, there was a
Well,
lot
I
on
even
there.
for there's a fifth one. I helped somebody get one for a therapy business up in northern Utah. And theirs was a rural, I don't know if it was rural Utah or rural, just a grant for rural cities.
Nice.
That one was supposed to be 7,000 plus. So
Damn.
That's pretty good change, yeah. So
ouch.
of the like 4 or 5 or so, is that kind of the max of what you've actually applied for too? So you've pretty much been almost 100% on the acceptance rate?
Yeah, actually, yes. I haven't been denied for
Wow.
anyone yet, which is knock on wood, I'm very grateful for. But if you come prepared with all the information, then it's
Yeah.
they don't have to go searching for it. So
So for people that aren't familiar with the grants, how would you say is like the types of grants? How would you explain what type of grants are available for ceramic artists or small businesses?
there are so many grants available. It again depends on your wording. So I wish I could put a number to them, but it can go anywhere from the list that I read off to you. Let me pull up the list. Sorry, I'm gonna look at my phone. Sorry. Let's see. It might be faster if I type in grants. There we go. Um, so I'm gonna give you the list that I gave for the presentation, but I give because it's a wide range array of areas you could tap into. You should look at your local community grants at different stores. So, like Home Depot, especially in the South, they offer community grants and grants to teachers to buy different supplies to help.
Home
Um,
Depot. Wow.
Lowe's, I tried to get a hold of them. They say they have one, but I wasn't able to talk to them to get the information from them. You have project grants, you have community grants, you have individual artist grants. Um, so, for example, like I said, there's Cedar City Arts Council. St. George has the St. George Arts Council. There's Walmart community grants, Ace Hardware community grants, um, county art grants, state art grants, federal art grants, rural area art grants, inner city art grants, national art grants, senior adult art grants. There's so many. Sorry, you guys. Art therapy, high school, middle school, car dealership art grants. That one was a surprise to me. Women in arts,
Art
queer
dealership.
in arts, indigenous in art, indigenous women in art, arts and education, teaching artists arts grants, and different school district grants. And that's just the list that I came up with in like 5 minutes.
So you could just Google that category of grant and then
Uh,
maybe your state
yeah, that would actually be perfect.
and just see what comes up. Well,
or
I'm guessing
even
something
federal.
like an Ace Hardware, or Home Depot, or Walmart. Like they would probably have a page on their website that's just like explains the stuff and the timing and
You would think
how
I
much
actually had to
money.
go in and talk to people because some of
Oh,
them don't make it public. Uh, but Home Depot, it was at Ensika in Richmond that there's a lady there that was presenting on grants, which is why I went to her presentation, and she was talking about how Home Depot quarterly has to give so much to the community and grants, but nobody ever knows about it. And so they never give it away, but they're supposed to.
oh.
So there's so many that go unused.
So in everybody's local community, like local Home Depots need to do it. It's not like
Local Home Depot.
statewide. Oh
Yep.
shit. Okay.
Right.
That's good to know. Okay, there's a Home Depot up the street.
One of the grants that I looked up for you today, Ryan, um, you have your community arts development grant, which it's a grant for Kentucky artists for arts and cultural projects. Um, its eligible activities include exhibitions, readings, festivals, performances, redesigning existing spaces, environmental art, and public art installations. But that's for Fayette County. I don't know if you're in Fayette County.
Fayette, I think Fayette County's in Lexington,
Okay, I
which is
wasn't
south of
sure.
me. Because I actually did look up some of I did a quick Google search of just Kentucky artist grants or something, and then saw, or maybe it was ChatGPT or something, and saw what it came up with. So some of these art organizations, you should have heard of them because, they've got a lot of n- notoriety, I guess, especially if you're in bigger cities, you probably heard of them. But okay, so it's a wide range of, there's a lot of money available. And from what you were talking about in the presentation, there's like federal money and then there's state money and then
And
there's like private money as well.
there's county, and there's private.
County and private. Okay. Okay. So it's
And there's
pretty
the,
wide ranging. Is there I mean, it basically seems like any artist or maker would be a good candidate for any of them.
hmm
Just kind of putting your name in the hat
pretty much.
and then just seeing what happens.
There are some where things will make you ineligible or like you can't use your grant for. The thing with grants is sometimes they're very, very specific and you can't use it for some things where you can use it for others. So the St. George Art Council grant, they don't pay for travel to different conferences or it has to be done there in their community. Where the Cedar City Arts Council, they the grant can go towards travel for like NCECA or a room for
Mm.
NCECA. Um, for example, there's one on folk and traditional arts apprenticeship grants. So
That's
that's if
that's
you were
actually one that I'm looking to apply to in Kentucky.
like,
It's through
I'll
the
send you the link.
Kentucky Arts Council. I get the emails because I'm part of the Kentucky Crafter program,
Only you.
and my assistant and I are thinking about applying for that.
See, you fulfill all the qualifications. That's what I was going to
Hmm.
say. Just barely. I was going to ask if you had an apprentice, which it sounds like you
I
do.
do, and the thing about that grant is because I was notified about that when I first joined the program, but my one assistant, Erica, that's been here for many years, lives in Ohio, so we wouldn't qualify because I would have to basically hire somebody to be an
Um,
apprentice in the state of Kentucky. But my other assistant is in the state of Kentucky, so it's like, okay, if you fit under those qualifications, I just got to go through the process to apply and do all that stuff.
you know,
Which is like some of the questions I have when I'm thinking about whether to do it or not. I'm like, okay, how many people are applying to this? How likely am I to actually get it? Do I need to have like a specific project? I mean, this one is more specific. I mean, you do kind of have to frame it a little bit to like, what are you going to
yeah.
do with it? Of like, do I have a specific project? Like yours was like a teen camp, like that was very time based. You have something in mind, or you're building out a studio or something like that, where it's like, I need some reason to ask for money rather than just I'm doing my same old thing and I need money could help me do
You
what
would
I'm already
think,
doing.
but some of the grants are for what you're already doing. You just have to find them. They're kind of buried.
Hmm.
So, um, what is this one for? There's classroom grants. Sorry, I pulled up all these things to. I was like, I gotta talk to you about them.
And these are all the Grant Watch that you're referencing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But that's the thing is like I'm paying for it. I could give you the link to go find the information, but like to the actual website, not from Grant
Mm.
Watch, which sounds a little
Hmm.
mischievous, but at the same time, I figure if I'm not using it, somebody may as well.
Hmm. And
Um,
then the other thing that comes to mind when I'm like thinking about the grants is how much do I need the money versus other people that could potentially be out there applying to it? But I'm also thinking, well, if I learn how to do it, I can also tell people how I did it so that I can help them get access to it if there's questions because I don't really know what goes into the process. But a funny thing about that apprenticeship one is I saw there was a potter that I know and I reached out to her and said, "Hey, congratulations on getting this grant last year. I'm curious if you can share any insights on what helped you get it because I'm thinking about applying this year." So it's like that's a main reason why I'm like, "Oh, maybe I could apply for this." Like that person qualified. I feel like I could probably qualify.
well, and then don't negate uh all that you bring. That sometimes, like I said, they go unused because people have the thought, well, somebody else could do it. Somebody else needs it more than me. Like, worst thing that can happen is they say, no, you didn't get the grant. Best thing that could happen is you get the grant.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Because
there
some
are
of it,
ones
if the grant doesn't get used, do they is that money potentially on the chopping block if they're not going to get that money in the future if they're not spending it?
possibly different foundations and different organizations. It just depends because, like, I know there are some where if you don't use it, you lose it.
Mm.
And that's sad because I'm like, that's potentially thousands of dollars that somebody could have used. Or they decide, well, maybe we shouldn't focus in this area. Maybe we should move it to a different area instead because nobody's applying for it in this area. So,
Mm.
like there's a Spectre Craft Prize for Emerging Artists grant that I pulled up over here. And it is for anybody in the ceramic, textile, woodworking, glass, metalwork, basketry, or paper arts. And that one is for all of the US, not just one state.
Mm.
Its deadline is March 1st. But everything you do, Ryan, you qualify for it. Same. Well, like I don't know all that you do. I do know that you make cute things and I love them. Um, you could too. I just know he was putting on a program for, well, not necessarily a program, but like the soda firing, so the
Yeah.
workshops.
Mhm.
So that fits into this different demonstrations. Let me find it.
Because
Um,
I would suspect you're going to have better odds if you're applying at the state level than nationwide, just because the pool is going to be larger. Or there's some that are like multiple states involved. Because I did apply for one last year that was for um in tools and equipment. It was from the Center for Cultural Innovation
hmm,
for like tools and equipment specifically, and
mhm.
that was like 10 states or 15 state wide for
Wow.
that year, and then they rotate it to a different group of states the next year. I didn't get it, but I still applied for it.
Well, it doesn't hurt to apply, does it?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, just whatever time is spent, figuring it
yeah.
out and being like, is this good enough? I don't know.
There's even ones for medical needs for artists, Becca. Um,
What?
uh-huh. I had it pulled up.
Ooh, get some of your hand surgery paid for.
I had it pulled up, but unfortunately, the one that I pulled up does not have ceramic arts. It's for, I'll pull it back up. Rauschenberg Medical Emergency Grant. But
Mm.
it is for visual artists, choreographers, and artists working in film, video, digital, and electronic arts for urgent and unanticipated healthcare needs.
Mm.
Um, and I was like, would ceramics fit under the visual arts? I'm not sure.
It's probably
No.
visual arts, but not the other subcategories they were talking about.
Yeah.
like film and whatnot?
Well, that's just the list of what the arts can be in. It's not
Oh,
like
okay.
subcategories.
Okay.
But I thought of you when I saw it and I was like, oh, I gotta tell Becca. But then I was like, but she did raise money with I paid for Becca's hand jobs.
Actively
Which I
still doing
love,
that.
by the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna get I have stickers that I bought or I'm buying. I want to buy them tonight, I think. And then I was thinking about doing a pre-order on the day that I have surgery,
Mm.
but we'll see.
But we can look into grants for that for your medical.
Well, the
Honestly, there
surgery's
probably
fine.
are something like that for that.
But some, if you know how to word, that's where those questions come in handy that I wrote down. The
Yeah, we can get to the applying part. For those that aren't familiar with applying, do you want to kind of summarize your approach and maybe where you got this information that you talked about in the presentation about applying and how to kind of build a good application?
sure can. Where's my book? Uh, what is the name of the book again, Ryan? Because
Storytelling for grant seekers.
thank you, Storytelling for Grant Seekers. So that is the book that I got from my. Oh, here it is. Here we
And I'll link to it in the show notes down below. It's blurred out
go.
for you, but it's
Yeah.
from Cheryl A. Clark is what I wrote down from the.
So all that information is in here, but like I was telling Ryan earlier, I loved it. It's like reading, like it made my brain understand it better. But I needed to shorten it down because I have a very short attention span. And so I wrote down it's a 6 question starter for grant writing. And it goes over what your story is, um, what your purpose is, what your mission statement is, a budget, an elevator pitch, and a letter of intent, which I didn't have an example at ClayCon once, but I do have one now. Uh, so I went over how you need to know your story. What is your story? Because that's what people are buying in is your story, your why, the whole reason why you are doing it. Um,
Why you were an artist or why you were asking for the money?
why you're doing your project.
Why you're doing your project. Okay.
And asking for the money is just the bonus, but like for example, no matter if I got the grant or not, I was still going to put on the teen ceramics camp because that's what I was really passionate about was helping kids fall in love with the ceramic arts younger uh, than I did because I didn't try ceramics until I was 30. I know I just aged myself. I'm old. But I grew up in California and we just didn't have some uh, programs available for us. So my whole reason why I went into the master's program for arts administration is because I saw so many funds taken away from art programs while I was growing up. So I never got to do them. And I thought that was ridiculous, especially when there's so many funds out there.
Hmm.
So, but I'm going to read this off the paper because I have it. To be successful in grant seeking, you can't draft a generic one size fits all grant proposal and send the identical story to each potential funder. Like with a resume, you'll keep 80 to 90% of the content, but with the other 10 to 20%, you will tailor it to the grant. You want each proposal to speak directly to that grant maker. You accomplish this by demonstrating alignment with the funder's giving priorities and by thoughtfully selecting words and phrases that will resonate with the funder. Um, so for example, Call Me Crazy, when I was applying for the grant for the teen art camp, um, first, some grant applications are super easy, some are not easy. The Cedar City one was super easy. I just had to fill out an application, pretty much just write down what my why was, and what I needed the funds for, and where they were going to go. But with the other ones, uh, I had to for the traveling artist one, I had to explain why we needed it. And in order to do that, I needed to hit them at a level that they would understand. So I'm going to read Coming Ecclesiastes Why Our Purpose. I'm sorry, I'm reading from the paper. Coming Ecclesiastes example are why. We have heard many a time that the art of throwing a bowl or mug on a pottery wheel is a dying art. More people would rather get a set of dinnerware from a box store for lower prices than a beautifully unique set of dinnerware because they don't understand or know the value of such work. However, in recent years, more and more people, both professional and amateur, have taken to ceramics. Ceramics has become an outlet for creative expression and can be both therapeutic and gratifying. Many have found varying health benefits, including the benefits of alleviating depression and the symptoms that come with it. In our digital screen-obsessed world, the act of producing unique handmade objects and the tactile experience of throwing pots on the wheel or creating sculptures from slabs of clay is extremely satisfying. It has become an activity that can be compared to yoga or meditation, granting wellness to flow through you, activating your sensory cortex and allowing you to create. So I brought in with that, I brought in how it helps us on a emotional level, and it's
Hmm.
helped lots of people function. And so they're like, wait a second, okay, so if it's helping more than just her get funds and it's helping those in her community and helping them stay here, I instead of choosing to leave.
Hmm.
Um,
Howdy. I am interrupting this just to chat to you about L&L Kilns because we love them and they are our sponsor and we love them. Anyway, I don't know if you guys read NCECA, but if you weren't, let me tell you that they were there and they had two kilns that were given away and they also had all their kilns for display. And I always feel like when I come back from like a big show or whatever, I really want to buy a kiln because I'm like, that looks so cool. I really want to buy one. So anyway, now's a good time. And if you wanted to see all the kilns that were there and just kind of like check up on the stats and everything like that, make sure your electrical is good, you can. You know what? I've yawned 4 times while recording this. I'm not taking it out. Anyway, you can go to hotkilns.com, and at hotkilns.com they have literally everything you need to know. So just head over there and like you can see the plug and fire. I mentioned last week that I'm trying to get I like texted my landlord and was like, hey, do you think you could let me have this kiln in our house, and sent all the specs just straight from the website. And it was so easy. So just keep that in mind. Like, it's so easy just to look up everything that you need to know and then to order it. And even the plug and fire, it comes in like 2 boxes via UPS. It's like no big deal at all, which is so nice. Ryan just got a controller holder thing for the plug and fire, which is really exciting. And now that I'm back in production mode, I just use mine to do a test. So it's like, they're so easy to use and it's so convenient and it's such a great thing to have in your life if you're a potter, because then you don't have to drive anywhere to like fire anything. So, if you're in the market for a kiln, we highly recommend L&L Kilns because they are the bomb. All right. That is all. Go to hotkilns.com. Hotkilns.com.
it takes it to the medical level, is where I was going with that. Sorry, my
Right.
brain went, oh,
Because it seems like and I don't know if that application you were writing it on behalf of yourself asking for it or on behalf of an organization that is asking for
well,
funds.
that one was on behalf of the organization.
Hmm.
Um, but as an individual, I've used my love of the arts and not being able to do it when I was younger,
Hmm.
because the opportunities were taken away from me because we didn't have funds. So as an individual, that's what I put in, and why I want to reach other younger students to help teach them. And so
Right.
that's where it makes a little bit of a difference there.
Like I felt like I felt like I could have benefited from more years of this. I didn't find it until I was this age, and I realized that I missed out. But
So much
I
missed
don't
out.
want this audience or this group of folks to miss out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as long as you as an individual also have a mission statement for your business, like Ryan Durbin, your business, and Becca Otis, Five Line Pottery, your business, people look at your mission statement and that's what they base a lot of things off of. So,
Okay. Because
because
I was wondering if framing it as a business makes it feel more like less personal, or if it's framing it as an individual makes it more, I want to have more impact individually versus like, hey, I'm part of this business that has a wider range of contact with the community or presence in the community versus I'm one person asking to help me do more individually. I don't know. Maybe
a
that
lot of
doesn't
time,
matter as much, but
no, it does. A lot of time, grant makers, they want to know what they're supporting. So whether it's the individual or the business, that is, so that's a great, I'm trying to think of the way, it's a great question to ask, but really they just want to know, okay, what am I supporting? Where is this money going?
hmm
Yes, you can make it more personal. People connect on a more personal level with you. And as a business, you can kind of make it more personal, where trying to make yourself more, I want to say make yourself more business. It just sounds like, oh, somebody put it in a computer and popped
hmm
this out. Does that make sense?
yeah. Yeah, don't it kind of tones it down if you lose that there's like humans behind the business and
Exactly.
rather than like RD Ceramics is looking for bigger impact in the community and keeping it like vague. Like,
So the
okay.
language you use makes a difference.
hmm
So,
Okay. So those in those pieces that you were reading kind of was sharing about your story and maybe your why, some of your mission statement.
yeah. And
And
when do
then what about some of the other aspects that they ask about? And some of them ask about budgeting, others don't.
you, yeah, other, you're right. The bigger grants that if you're applying for the bigger ones, they want a budget. 100% want a budget. They want to know where the money's going. And then they hold you accountable. So, for example, for my grants, I had to get up and I had to show them. I had to present to them, okay, this is what the grant money was used for. Here's pictures, here's this. Some of them you can just write a letter, you could send pictures in. Some of them want you to get up and
So
present.
I was gonna say you actually had to present it in person. It wasn't just filling out an online application and submitting it.
Yep. I had to present.
Ooh.
Well, at the end of the project, I had to present. Not
Oh,
not when
okay, okay.
applying, not when applying.
Okay, I'm like, damn, that's a lot of work to apply. That's a lot of pressure. You're like, a lot of it's writing on. Okay, but you've got time to like prepare and get all of the application. That's pretty much all digital. You submit that and then
When you
a
receive the grant,
presentation after. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, and that's when I told the story of I had a friend who was a vice principal at a high school in California who he had applied for a grant. They'd gotten the grant for the school and they were building a building and things were supposed to stay on track. And he was like, he trusted people. This is where sometimes it's not, it hurts people. He was trusting people to stay on task and do their job, and instead they weren't. And he didn't realize that they weren't staying on task and doing their job until the grant people went out there and checked on the progress, and there was no progress. And because
Mm.
there's no progress, um, and he's the one that applied for the grant, he got in trouble and they withdrew the grant.
Oh, and that wasn't a small amount of money, I suspect, if
No,
they're building and everything.
exactly. It was not a small amount. It was bad enough that even though he defended himself and it was proven that he was not the one in the wrong, he was like, I'm moving out of California. I can't do this anymore. This is so wrong. So it was
Wow.
not a good experience for him, which
Okay.
is why you stay accountable and make sure you're doing everything that you said you would be doing.
So how? simple or detailed does a budget have to be? Is it, I mean, I guess it depends on if it's project specific or if it's more general. I know, and you mentioned some things are off limits as
Yes,
well.
it depends on the grant. So the budget, someone should break down step by step of where the money is going to, and some are like, okay, it's going to this individual. So like I didn't have to break down, but I did break down where every single dollar went for the teen ceramic camp. Um, where so even though I didn't have to do that, I did that. So they just wanted to, okay, what did you do with it? Fantastic. Where the school one, they had to break down where the money was going to go. And they didn't get all the money for the budget that they wanted, but like for example, I helped a friend back in 2020 figure out their budget and the numbers. When you're putting in numbers, if you write a mother grant, you have to remember to change the numbers for inflation
Oh,
because
okay. Oh, for like building materials or clay costs or whatever it is, because you could expect a box of clay is going to be $30 and it's actually $40 now or something.
yes, I don't remember where I put that paper down, but the original budget was like 7,000 for a kiln and now it's like 12,000 or something like that or 10,000
Oh shit. For like a gas kiln?
for one of the big oval kilns.
Oh shit.
I had
Damn.
I
I don't
had
know.
the
Becca
price.
bought one a few years ago. I don't know how much it was when she got it. It might have been dented too, though.
Mine was dented and it was 3 grand when it was dented, but I think it was like 5 grand now.
Woo.
See,
Yeah, those
but still,
ovals are no joke.
inflation. Um, is it a three phase or a single phase?
It
Because
was a
that
single
also
phase.
makes a difference. Huh?
It was a single phase, but it was 80 amp.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like all of those make a
And then
difference in
the cost to
cost.
get it installed might vary too, like the cost of
Delivery,
electrical.
installation,
Yeah.
all that. So you got to think about all of that
Hmm.
when doing the budget. And because I like to be specific in that, because I'm like, if I'm going to have to account for every penny, I want to do it now instead of waiting to do it later.
Hmm.
So
Because some of it also has a limit on how much you can ask for, or maybe what about the like up to 10,000? And then you're like, well, if I ask for like five, are they more likely to give it to me? Because I'd be happy with five. And I don't want to feel
if
like I'm asking for the whole thing.
if you have a budget breakdown and you're like, I want the full 10,000, here's where it's going to go, that's fantastic. They love that.
Hmm.
Um, if you're like, I only need 5,000, but I could deal with more. Like if you wanted to give me more, they're more like, well, we'll give you the 5,000 you asked for, but like I
Hmm.
need to know where the more would go if that's what you actually wanted.
Right. Because the ones with the tool and equipment, I was asking for the advancer kiln shelves for the soda kiln. I was
Ooh,
gonna build a second soda kiln and ask for advancers. And I was like, these are expensive, but also like freight and all this stuff. I could get away with X number of them, or I could get X number and have like a couple more, and I could share them with the other soda kiln that's there. Or if I need to like buy new bricks or something like that. But
so you're trying not to be greedy? Is that
uh,
what you're
well,
saying?
no, I was trying to like know what to ask for of how many shelves I actually need versus well the amount it said they wanted it for was like 5,000 or however much it was. And I was like, that's a lot of shelves to get up to 5,000. But then I'm like, well, I could ask for a burner or, this or that that is part of the build, you know. But
I would ask for the full amount.
hmm.
And again, we don't know prices if they're going to go up because with
Yeah, that's
tariffs
true.
and different materials used to make them, like all of that makes
And
prices go
then
up.
a lot of times the application process is like 6 months in advance, or you won't find out for a long time
Exactly.
until they actually
As,
grant it, and then the money's allocated and all that.
as long as you can defend why you're asking for that much, you don't need to worry. For example, like I said, the one grant they say up to 500 and then they ask, well, how else are you going to cover it if it goes more than 500? And I'm like, well, it's just going to come out of my pocket. That's not a problem. I'm willing to do that. Like
Hmm.
I'm willing to do whatever I can to keep the camp going or to start the camp or. Like,
Hmm.
it's not going to stop me if I get a grant or not.
What about labor? Do they, and maybe something like the apprentice, I think the apprentice one is one of those that's kind of like that as well, where it's like, am I paying for labor of them to do something, or is it paying for like
I mean,
or
like
what they
your
can or can't do?
labor,
Like my labor or their labor? Or
yeah, you're allowed to.
is it more, hey, this is for materials and because I kind of think of it as if I'm going to do a separate project, it's going to need to cover my time of dedicating time
Yes,
away from something else that I could be
you do need to
making
think.
money from it.
You do need to think about that and put that into the budget as well. Um, in fact, that's why I encourage nonprofit ways, but you have to be careful nonprofit ways because you're not allowed to do. Um, there are some things you are not allowed to bill for, like or to write into it. Like, oh, I'm trying to think. I was taught that. Let's see. If you are you can't use your budget like if you're applying for a grant and you have not put in that part of it is going to go for somebody's salary, you cannot use that grant to pay that person. But if you're like, if you put in that it's for to pay for labor, to pay for supplies, to pay for product, to pay for a building, as long as you're being honest and forthcoming with it, it should be fine. If
How
I'm
would
wrong,
labor in that differ from their salary? You're just saying you're still going to pay them no matter if the grant money is there or not. Is that kind of what you mean?
correct. Their salary should be something different, but like if okay, David, how am I trying to word this?
Because you said it
This
could
is
still
why
be
I bring my
considered
emotional support, David.
it could still be considered labor in some aspects, but
Yes, but
that
your salary should not be fully dependent upon if you can get the grant or not. Unless you're saying,
okay.
um, $2,500 of this grant is going to go to pay the salary or the labor, of this person. If you're saying, oh, we got the grant, now I can pay you $2,500, that's not
Hmm.
right.
Because okay, here's an example of the Kentucky Arts Council one that I'm looking at. It is it's a folk and traditional arts apprenticeship, so it's a
Uh-huh.
partnered grant with myself and my assistant, and the
Uh-huh.
breakdown is it's up to $4,000. I think it is. It's just a straight $4,000, and the breakdown is 3,500 would go to the mentor, and 500 would go to the mentee or the apprentice.
Hmm. So that is specifically for an apprenticeship. So that is made to pay the teacher and the student or the apprentice. So
Hmm.
that one is 100% you. This is what I would charge. This is what I would like to get for teaching.
Right.
Pretty much.
So that's like,
So
hey, set aside time because you're getting paid to spend time with them
yes.
rather than, oh, this is just like, you need to spend more money on more resource. I mean, that could be part of it, that you're buying additional resources or supplies or something,
Yes.
but it's meant to be like a mentor-mentee relationship. So,
And it's meant to be a grant to help pay you for that. Because a lot of people don't get paid for that, sadly.
mhm.
Um, I had a grant pulled up where it talked about that it couldn't be used for paying people. Um,
The ones I'd looked at, I feel like it does specify it. It says this is, yeah, it'll kind of say that in the application.
yes, it'll be ineligible is on Grant
Hmm.
Watch it says ineligible and it gives a whole list of what you cannot use things for. For example, this one says capital expenditures for equipment or facility construction or renovation. So you couldn't use it to build anything
Hmm.
or to build a facility.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, the different ones are they're specific in what you can and cannot. Like St. George, you cannot do it for travel, you cannot do it for um workshops out of state. It has to be there in St.
Yeah.
George that you do it.
Okay. Yeah. You're building. more in your community. You're
Yeah.
helping support your community, and that's what that money is staying within the community. Okay.
Yep.
So
And
so if you're like going through an application, how long does it realistically take to get through preparing and getting an application like ready, in your opinion?
are you talking about when you create your mother grant and everything, or when you're applying? So
Um,
it's two different
we'll s-
ones.
we'll say the mother grant because the mother grant seems like that needs to happen no matter what grant you're
Hmm.
applying for because it's going to be your kind of skeleton you're working off of to
Yes.
customize for each grant.
So mine took me a whole semester, but that's because I kept refining.
And
So
you were like taking a class in that.
yes, and she had us doing it section by section. But the other mother grants that I've done, we've done what I did is I had them word vomit everything on paper, and then we broke it down to find what to answer the 6 questions, like what's your story, what's your purpose, your mission statement, and your budget. Like the elevator pitch is not necessarily required, but sometimes they want that. What is it called? It starts with an A.
Abstract? Is it like an abstract or
Abstract.
something?
Yes, it's your abstract.
Okay.
Sometimes they want that 2 to 3 sentence abstract.
Okay. Well,
Um,
the budget for that's going to be customized. The budget's not. I feel like you can almost skip the budget for unless you're looking at a specific application, right?
well, you if you have everything that you want in like your ideal budget down and ready, then you can select from what you need and put it into the application that you're applying for.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Okay.
like I have a very monotone voice right now. I'm so sorry.
No, it's good. Your elevator pitch and then your letter of intent. Can you explain the what a letter of intent is?
So the letter of intent is a shorter version of your story. Uh, so it introduces the people before you uh, to what you are and who you are, what you do, why you need the money before you actually give them the whole shebang. Uh, it's the first step in the screening process, making sure that your company is a good fit. It is not usually for grant makers to also request a program budget, your annual budget, and a board list.
It kind of sounds like a cover letter for a resume. Is that kind of what it is?
It is kind of what it is, but it's not as um, formal. It's not as formal.
Okay. Okay.
So it's literally it'd be me like writing you and saying, "Hi, my name is Laura Hall, and I would love to present grant writing on your podcast. And this is all the information that I have. Um, if you'd like to learn more,
It's sort of elevator pitchy. Yeah.
yeah, it's elevator pitchy, but it's longer than a little elevator pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Because the elevator pitch is like what, 6 minutes long? No, not that long.
Six
3 minutes?
words, then 30 to 60 seconds.
30 to 60 seconds. Thank you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Six
I just
minutes.
need to scroll.
If you're in an elevator for 6 minutes, you're stuck.
Oh, right. That's a very long elevator ride.
Yeah.
30 to 60 seconds, and then you have your 6 word one that you can shorten it down to. That's where the six comes in, not 6 minutes. My
Six.
goodness.
Try to shorten it into no more than 6 word sentence encompassing. Okay.
It's like,
Okay. So you had like a semester to go through this.
mhm.
It sounds like it's, I mean, I guess it depends on how quickly you're working through it and how dedicated you are, but it sounds like it may be a couple week project of just like
Yeah.
working through a question at a time and kind of spending a couple hours at a time
Yep.
working through it.
Because after you word vomit onto paper everything, then you got to break it down. But yeah, it would definitely be a couple of weeks. I was working with somebody who decided to go a different direction because I was being too needy and saying, "Hey, I need this information. I can't do this without this information." Um,
Hmm.
and about the 2.5, 3 week mark, they're like, "Hey, I wish I had this. I don't have it. I'm not ready for a grant writer yet. So we'll contact you when we're ready." I'm like, "Okay, you do you. That's fine."
Okay.
So, but yeah, because trying to figure out, I don't know about you guys, but trying to figure out what I actually wanted to do, like to the core, took me a little bit. But I word vomited everything onto paper first. I know that sounds gross,
Yeah,
but
a lot of it I'm just like, oh, getting down to the story or the why or the I feel like a lot of it's just, well, I don't know. I'll speak for myself. A lot of us just do the things we do, and we're like, does that sound fun to do? Yeah, I'll do that. Or, oh, what do I spend my time actually doing? And then there's like a thread across it of why you do it or what you do and how to summarize that. But actually distilling that down to something that's like a couple sentences is difficult. But then, and
Yep.
then if you get it down to those couple sentences, you're like, oh yeah, that's obvious. Like, of course.
This is
But
where, no, this
going
is
through
horrible of
that
me.
is difficult.
This is horrible of me. Okay, everything that I have here, I did not use ChatGPT for. Okay, so like, I did not use it at all in my graduate programs at all.
Hey, everybody. We are taking a quick break to talk about one of our sponsors of the podcast, Speedball. I was able to spend some time with Speedball, the folks over there, and see all of you all in the booth at NCECA recently and demoed with Erica. We had a great time, shared a little bit of their underglazes that Erica was painting on, and then I carved, and we talked to quite a few folks during our demo. So thank you all for stopping by. And it's always a good time to see the Speedball folks and see what they're working on. So, Scott, the chemist over at Speedball, has been working hard at getting a new line of glazes out, and they announced it at NCECA, the Studio Plus line of glazes. They are a new comparable option to, like, if you're familiar with the Mako stroking coats, those are kind of the standard for your bright colors out there on the market. And these run from '06 to 6. So it's, think of the primary bright colors. They obviously have a number of colors in there in the range, kind of like they do in the underglaze area. So there are 16 colors that they will be releasing here shortly. We got to see those live in person at NCECA. They had a couple samples of each color that were actually applied to pots. So they had an '04 and a Cone 6 version that were applied to some cups. So if you stopped by the booth and saw on the back wall in front of the banner, you might have seen those and handled them and saw them up close. But they will be releasing more information shortly. Until then, I'm looking forward to getting mine, testing them out. If you want to see their Studio Plus line when it gets announced, see all their other products, their underglaze colors, you might be in the market for that. Maybe a special pink bat that you might see some familiar faces on. And you can see all that information at speedballart.com. SPEEDBALL. Speedball. So let's get back to the episode.
I put into ChatGPT just before the presentation for ClayCon. I was like, if I give you this information, can you help me make it sound like a good mission statement? And I did not go with the mission statement they chose because I liked mine better.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where I know there are people against AI. But if you're using it if you are putting in all your information trying to help, because like obviously you can tell I have a hard time explaining things. If I could say, hey, ChatGPT, this is what I'm trying to say, help me make it sound better, and they make it sound better, it's a fantastic tool.
Mm-hmm.
I am all for using it that way. I know everybody's not, but like you need to have the information. It's not just going to conjure it up for you out of nowhere. If it does, it's
Right.
probably not accurate. But
Yeah, if I just asked for, can you give me a mission statement for Ryan Durbin of RD Ceramics? That's very low level information. You're not giving it much depth. It's going to go out to the, internet and try to find things about me and try to just distill it into
right,
what I do, but it's not going to
exactly.
know all the reasonings behind it.
So I put in the ChatGPT for the conference elevator pitch. And I put it in for the 6-word elevator pitch. And it came up with focused ceramics instructions for dedicated teens. And I was like, hey, that actually doesn't sound bad. But like what
Mm-hmm.
I had was not good because I was like, Southern Utah's exclusive summer camp for teens for
Mm-hmm.
ceramics.
ceramic summer camp for
See,
teens. Yeah. Then it's just like descriptive versus like action words or something
it, it
that
it cut out all the repetitive,
Mhm.
uh, too eloquent words. They're like, just don't use those words.
Right. Most of the time when I'm prompting for because I use for the podcast titles and things, I'll say give me 10 suggestions and then I can look through what options they give me and then I pick out the ones that I like best. And
Oh,
then
see,
I can tweak it and I can massage it a little bit or I can say, "Hey, I liked 2 and 3 the best. Can you give me 10 more that are like 2 and 3?" And then
right?
you kind of get your own spin on it. It's still doing a lot of the work, but at least it's kind of like getting the ideas flowing a little bit rather than feeling
Yeah,
like I'm staring at a blank screen and I'm like, I gotta come up with a mission statement. That feels very heavy.
true. But if you break the mission statement down to who you are, why you're here, and how you'll make a difference, it's a little bit easier. Sorry, I never explained that. That's how you do a mission statement. I know we're boring,
Yeah,
Becca. I'm
the
sorry.
mission statement says should say who you are, why you are here, and how you will make a difference. Yeah.
Yep. So,
We'll put these this document and the state by state organizations in on our website and we'll link to it so you all can check that out.
so like on my business cards, I have my mission statement. I just have it on the back of the business card. So that way they'd be like, Laura, why do I have Laura's card? And, oh, that's right. She's a ceramic camp lady. Makes sense.
So on the application, what would you say most people or you struggled with, or what
Oh,
people
that's
would struggle with if maybe they didn't have your background of actually going through classes and things like that?
um aside from the budget was the hardest thing for me. Even though numbers should be super easy, it was figuring out what I had to ask for. Um, it would be the mission statement because I had to not dumb it down. I had to minimize it, and figure out why I really wanted to do this. So, you, Ryan, and you, Becca, why do you do ceramics?
Because I like it. Because it's fun, it's enjoyable. It's also a way to connect with others from something that I make.
What about it do you like
I
aside
lo-
from the
I,
connection?
I enjoy the tactile nature of actually doing something with my hands.
I love that.
Like producing something out of basically a lump of mud when so much of what we do is on the computer these days. It's nice to actually be able to do something physical.
There you go. So then you put that on paper and you're going to break it down to who, who are you? Who you are, why you're here, how you're going to make a difference. Okay, so you just said who you are, and you're saying why you're doing it. Now, how are you going to use that to make a difference?
Hmm. I would say I would say there's a lot of folks that say I'm not artistic or I'm not creative or um and I think some of it doesn't have to be inspirational. It could be just actually having doing the thing. The act of doing makes you makes you creative, but like it kind of gets your creative juices flowing without you intentionally kind of going there. So I would
Hmm.
say something around those lines of trying to get having folks like appreciate handmade more and whether that's them doing it themselves and actually getting their hands dirty or appreciating handmade items.
So then you're going to squash it all together. So you, Ryan Durbin, you appreciate and enjoy the tactile experiment experience of working with clay and how would you word that? Involving others or bringing others into the ceramic world. And oh wait, how did you word that last part?
Getting something about appreciation for handmade objects or I mean, there going back to the connection, it could be building a connection with the person who actually made the thing, where you're appreciating that a human actually had to build this thing or,
Create it.
created this thing.
Teaching others to create something from nothing
Hmm.
is pretty much what you said. You enjoy making it, creating something from nothing, and you want to share that with others.
Hmm. Okay.
But finding out how to, like, that's what the cool questions are about. Okay, who are you? Why are you here? How are you gonna make a difference? Those three combined are gonna make your mission statement because it tells people who you are and where you're going and why you're going there.
Right. And um and it seems like having someone to bounce these ideas off of rather than just staring at a sheet of paper, because you kind of need to do the brainstorming of the iteration. And this might be where like ChatGPT might be good to like chat with or something to actually distill it and listen to it, interpret
Mhm.
it, document it. But like having somebody that's experienced in the grant, because you're filtering this through what are grant writers looking for? How do I actually get
True.
this to an explanation for someone that's reading it that might not know all the ins and outs of our craft,
Hmm.
and then distilling that down to how it's important or how it makes an impact or those
David
those
brought me
kind of.
one of my cards, you guys.
Okay. What's your little shorthand? What's your.
My mission statement is Kami Klesi develops an atmosphere of positive creativity that nurtures growth in the ceramic arts while empowering generations to come.
Okay.
Which which could be kind of confusing and I could probably change words around, but when I was doing it, um, none of the other words felt right or sounded right. I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm not just focusing on teens, I want to focus on preteens and I want to help adults and I want to help senior adults.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
generations to come, so it's spanning,
exactly. So generations to come is I was like, well, that's the only one that would work. Um, a lot of times when you're in a class, the teacher makes or breaks the subject. Yes. At
Yes.
least in
Yep.
my case.
Yeah.
For example, my first ceramic teacher, she's like, YouTube it. And I was like, I have never
What?
touched clay. I was 30 years old. I'd never touched clay ever. And she's like, okay, our first project is a 6-inch cylinder with perfect quarter-inch thickness. And I was like, okay, how do I do this? Because I'd been on the wait list. So she did a demo, only one demo, the week prior. And then I got into the class and she's like, YouTube it.
Oh
And I
my
was like,
gosh.
so I learned to throw left-handed because I YouTubed it. And I didn't know I was throwing left-handed until I transferred from the community college in California to SUU. And I had Susan
So
Harris.
wait, you were throwing left-handed because you were mirroring what you were watching, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
I
sounds
didn't know that
difficult.
I didn't know that you could turn the wheel, make the wheel go the other way. I know that sounds horrible, but like, okay, I didn't know
I
any of
feel like
this.
some people wouldn't notice that if
Very
they.
fair. And you're not the only one.
And so when I go and teach in classes now, I'm like, wait, are you right-handed or are you left-handed? And they're when the left-handers are like, oh, I'm left-handed, I was like, oh, let me fix the wheel. And they're like, oh my gosh, it makes a difference. I was like, yes, it does. But like, I never wanted to take another ceramic class after my first experience.
That
But
sounds so difficult. The
it
wheel is
was
working against you, and you're trying to do everything on the wrong side, and you're just like,
ex
"What is going on?"
exactly. I couldn't figure it out. I was like, I'm just not talented enough in ceramics. And so when I transferred up here, I was like, I'm never taking another ceramic class ever, ever. And I went to Susan Harris, and she's like, I'm only going to sign off on this as long as you swear to never take a ceramics class again. I was like, I swear, it's not for me. And then I had Russell Rankle, who is my 3D design professor, and I fell in love with stone carving, and and he was like, well, in order to get a degree in stone carving, you have to do a focus in ceramics. And I was like, Oh my gosh, are you
Back to
serious?
ceramics.
And so I signed up for ceramic class and I went and I was taking my first one. And Susan was walking around and she's just watching everybody. And the next day I'm there again and I'm struggling trying to get the cylinder pulled because I still can't pull a great cylinder. And she goes, Laura, are you right-handed or left-handed? And I was like, well, I'm right-handed. She's like, well, then why are you throwing left-handed? And I was like,
So you were doing everything over at like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock?
I was trying. I was
Eh,
not succeeding.
yeah. Whew.
So so that teacher makes or breaks it. And so
You know,
uh what was that?
I've like, did you know that Andrew Krieger taught himself how to throw and he throws left-handed?
No,
Oh,
I didn't
really?
know that.
Yeah,
Well, he does
So
beautiful
is
work.
he naturally left-handed or he's right-handed? He
pretty
just
sure he's right-handed. So, anyway, all that to say, you're not the only one. You're definitely not the only one.
I swear.
because a lot of wheels don't have a toggle that you can. I mean, I would guess all the wheels now do, but some of the older wheels, when we were teaching at the local community center or whatever, not every wheel had a toggle that you can flip the direction that the wheel could spin. So,
Well, I have a teacher who I sub for who refuses to teach left-handers that they could turn the wheel to do left-handed because he's
mhm.
like, that's not how they do it in Asia. And I was like, but we're not in Asia.
Oh my God.
But that's the thing. Like, I wanted
Wait,
to
in
develop.
Asia, do they use mostly electric wheels or do they use manual? Like,
Honestly, I don't know. I just know that the students struggle when they have to do that.
'cause I
I
feel like
want to
that, yeah.
punch. Him.
But like, so the whole positive, like an atmosphere of positive creativity, that's because I've had a series of teachers that they don't develop that and people end up hating it and wanting to run away. Because I
Hmm.
was part of that. I wanted to run away. So, but like this is why I wanted to do what I do because no matter how many people I learned from, I'm still learning, and it's okay to still learn, even from students.
Hmm.
And so yeah, so that's my whole why I do that. Sorry, that was a whole different direction. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think the influences of just having somebody even just giving you a little nudge, like, okay, you're doing good, like, or you're not doing that bad, like, hey, go easy on yourself, or
Well, I watch
kind of.
students struggle every day, and they're like,
Mhm,
I just can't get it. And I'm like, show me, and they'll show me. Sorry, and they'll show me, and I'll be like, oh, okay, well, your elbows are like jutting out. You're not locking them, so let's
mhm,
try locking them. And then, because I'm just a substitute teacher, I get permission. I'm like, hey, is it okay if I touch your hand to help show you how much pressure you need? And they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. It's like,
mhm,
okay, so I'll push their hand in so they can show, and then I show them, like the you're gonna push in with just the pinky, and then you're gonna use your dominant. For me,
mhm,
how I taught myself to do it was the gentle pressure with your dominant hand on top because you're pushing forward, inward, and downward, right? And
mhm.
they're like, oh my gosh, that's so much easier than what they were trying to teach me. I was like, well, how did they teach? They're like, put your fingers in, pull back. I was like, wait, you're centering. They're like, yeah, but that's all I know. And so they knew how to open, they didn't know how to center, or
Yeah, some of the students
just
are
open it
more
and center.
likely to actually listen to, all the students are different of like what they actually, how they can adapt what you're saying. It's
Yeah.
like, are they more likely to listen to the substitute that's there trying to actually get hands on and like show them more attention rather than like, oh, they don't really pay me attention, or I
I
don't
kid
know.
you not. There are teachers that do that, and it's okay. They have like a gazillion students to have to deal with. That's where
Hmm.
an extra set of eyes comes in. But the same goes for grant writing. You're gonna you're gonna struggle getting everything down onto paper, and then you're like, "Hey, tell me what I'm missing." And somebody's be like, "Well, you don't ever say why you're doing it, or you don't ever say what you want to do with this." So,
Hmm.
and that's where the whole semester long was nice because they're like, "Laura, great. I know who you are. I know why you're doing it. Where are you going with this?
Hmm.
What is your end goal?" And it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be a process that you're going to dissect for a few weeks. And perfection is not a destination, it's a direction. Perfection is a direction, not a destination. There we go. Said it that way.
Yeah. Because I suspect an application could come across very markety, very sales pitchy, rather
Hmm.
than like, has some like soul to it and have some heart to it of, hey, this is my North Star
Hmm.
and this is uh along the pathway. This is what I would like assistance along my path of where I'm going. And then they're like, "Oh, I like that. I want to support that. Hey, I've got money. I can help them get along their path. Like they're going closer to their North Star. Like I want that." Rather than, "Ooh, they had the best sales pitch and it was like really markety, really good."
Mentos, the fresh maker.
And there's not as
Conflict.
much soul to that. So I suspect getting down to the distilling it down to that mission statement, the soul, the reasons why you're doing it is a
And then,
better, stronger application than the ones that threw it in ChatGPT, spit it out, and then
right?
you just copied and pasted.
Well, and then the letter of intent, that's your intro to the whole thing. Like, so you could be a little more personal in there. So my of intent, I put Call Me Crazy was founded by Laura Hall, a Southern Utah University ceramics alumna. She's alumni. Anyway, there's Laura's educational journey strongly informs the mission of the program. So I'm putting myself in there so that way they can connect.
Hmm.
And it's not just a business pitch or how did you word it?
It's not like a marketing sales pitch.
Marketing. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, my brain is
Because
like,
I also suspect some folks outsource their grant writing to people and then they just submit it on their behalf.
um,
Yeah.
yes, they do. Uh, so the company that was not getting back with me in the information, that's what they were going to have me do. And they wanted me to write everything and then submit it to different things.
Were
But
they
I
paying
can't.
you for that?
They were going to. They didn't end up paying me because they wouldn't give me information, so I couldn't give them something to build off
You
of.
couldn't charge them, yeah.
They're like, well, why do you need a budget? Because that's what grants are about. They need to know how you're going to break it down. But I'm
Yeah,
not
how are you going to
comfortable giving
spend the
you the
money?
budget. I'm not comfortable giving you the budget. Well, I'm going to need a number, but I'm
Yeah.
not comfortable giving you a number. It's fun working with people sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm. Okay. Well, it sounds like there's work to be done no matter if there is a actual grant out there for you. So everybody kind of has homework if you plan to, and this doesn't sound like a bad idea to just do anyways. Kind of like a business plan in a sense, and just understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it. And then if there is a grant that comes across your desk that you've got 3 months to apply for, then you're like, oh, okay, now I can spend customizing it to that specific grant, maybe a few hours, maybe a couple hours less.
well, if you have everything written up, really, it's just customizing it to the grant doesn't take that long at all, unless they want something you don't have.
Hmm.
But if you have everything and you're just changing it for the grant, that I put 10 to 20%, um, because you change the budget and the information for that, but like it's not really something that should take long after that.
Hmm.
The whole process of creating it, give yourself a few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that would be a bite size. Like I just need to bite off a couple hours at a time every week or 2 weeks or something just to break it down so that I'm making some progress. Because otherwise, it's like, write all of this stuff. Never going to do it.
Well, when I was doing it, during my prep periods, I would answer. I wrote down my goals for the whole thing, and then the next prep period, I wrote down what I could possibly budget for. So for me, it was a whole semester's worth of work, but it was broken down prep period by prep period, different days.
Hmm.
So
And some of the ones that I saw, they do designate that some of these are for 501c
Hmm.
organizations, some of them are for individuals,
Hmm.
all of those things. So that criteria is in there. Because you're like 501c, I'm just a individual artist. Like that doesn't apply to me. So I can't do that.
Right.
But
So that's when you would look up individual artist grants, or
mhm.
unfortunately, because men have been the focus in arts for so long, they don't have men in arts grants. I mean, we could look it up. There might be a possibility. But a lot of
I
them
did see
focus
some
on,
in Kentucky. There was a Kentucky for women option. I can't remember the name of it, but I saw it earlier today that I was looking up.
see, like we have internships. Oh, this is an internship one for you for USA women. They have indigenous. They have they have pages and pages. Doctoral students, graduate students, individual artists.
Yeah, the Kentucky one I saw was the Kentucky Foundation for Women. It was an artist
Yeah.
enrichment grant. That was the one I looked up, and I was like, it doesn't apply to me, but it's nice that they have it. Becca, have you ever looked into grants at all for anything? For
No,
your for Washington when you're in Washington or Indy or anything like that?
No, but also, have you ever read anything I've written?
Well, that's where you would use a tool or something or somebody like Laura that could be like, "Hey, here's maybe some things you can look
I
I
know.
would
into."
do it in a heartbeat.
Maybe like I think that also, yeah, I could ask like Deanna too. Because that's her literal job. But
Oh,
I was thinking that maybe um like after I get my hands fixed and stuff, maybe. Because I actually know a few people that got grants. They have a lot of grants down here for potters because it's North Carolina, you know. So, and they have like art pop down here and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, once I get moving, then maybe I'll apply and
So you've
well,
known some individual artists that have gotten grants that are like working artists.
yeah, my friend at the studio, Tim, he got one. He's a phenomenal painter and he's also really good at doing pottery. He's learning pottery. It's his first and a half year, but you would if you saw his pots, you'd be like, "Holy shit." Um, but yeah, I've thought about it. I just don't know when I'll do it. It is very intimidating, grants, to me at least.
which
It
is why
feels kind of formal to me. It's like, oh, I gotta like get all this stuff buttoned up. It's gotta look really nice.
Mm-hmm.
which I understand, but which is why I broke it down into those 6 questions.
Yeah.
Is so that way it wouldn't be intimidating.
Yeah, that definitely helps. Yeah. Like I think you make it feel more approachable, you know?
That's
Yeah.
good because that was what I was hoping for.
Do do they give do they give feedback?
Sometimes some of them say they will not give feedback, but I never received feedback, but that's because I got the grants.
You got them. Your
Yeah.
fee is money.
Right.
All right.
Because
Look,
some
I
of it
finally
you're
participated.
like you're taking a shot in the dark. You're applying, you're like, I don't know what's strong in this application, what's weak in this application. Are they offering any kind and I suspect depending on how many people are applying, like they don't have time to give kind of like a jury for an art show. Like they can't give feedback to every artist that applied and say why they didn't make the cut or
This
whatever.
the small community ones are willing to probably give feedback. Um, the larger federal ones, the government ones, I probably not.
No way. Yeah.
So you're right on track with that. But
Yeah, I haven't I mean there's always the contact info for the like the Kentucky ones that I'm looking at. I'm sure I can ask and the other Potter that I reached out to that got it last year, she said that she did ask questions and they were helpful with the process.
if you go through, if they call you up and they're like doing like a little interview process, because sometimes it's a multi-step process, that would be the best time to be like, what are you looking for in your grant recipient? Like, is there any way I didn't fulfill those qualifications?
Mm.
But that's
And
what I
kind of like
asked
fill
them
in
to.
gaps that they might have
Yeah.
for you, and then you can
Um,
see if you can answer that in the moment.
yeah, but not every single one of them offers or does the face-to-face interview for the grants. Um,
Okay.
I just know of a few who, once they narrow it down, that do the face-to-face. I
Okay.
have not done a face-to-face.
That sounds intimidating. A face to face.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah. I'm like, am I gonna have to drive to the like the capital of my state and like do this thing for this grant for the state? And yeah, I don't know. That
No.
feels intimidating. But I also suspect if you're asking questions about it, I don't know if the person you're asking questions about is involved in actually the jurying process or looking through the grants, if that helps them with name recognition of, oh, this person was asking like they were, trying to produce a good grant application. I don't know if that shows additional work.
Great question.
I don't know.
I like,
Like I don't know. I feel like if I'm a student in class and I'm asking questions a lot, they know me.
exactly. I feel like if they, well,
It depends, I guess, but
I like to ask questions all the time. Like I ask you questions all the time, Ryan. Well, when we're in person, I've asked you questions.
Mhm.
Same with you, Becca. I, I at your workshop, I know I did. And then I was like, oh, I'm being annoying. I should stop asking questions.
Questions are great.
I figure if I don't know, I may as well ask. And then you connect with people on a more personal level.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
If I don't like a question, you don't get a good answer, you know? So like you can pretty much tell when I'm done. But I've never felt like you asked too many. I asked too many questions at work. Oh my gosh, they're sick.
well, well, the thing is like if you don't know, you don't know. Like poor Dell, I ask Dell questions all the time about glazes, and he's probably like, Laura, why did I let you ask me questions? In fact, he's like, you always have problems with speedball. And I was like, no, I don't. I love it. But I can't figure out why it's doing this. So,
Right, at any meeting at work, it's like a big meeting or something. Everybody's like, "Does anybody have any questions?" And then they automatically look at me.
They're like, does anybody besides Becca have any questions?
Yeah,
Just to
basically.
get those out of the way, and then Becca, what question do you have? Go ahead.
Yeah, I limit myself to one at the big meetings.
Are some of them like, what is your favorite color?
Oh, questions at the big meetings are big questions.
Okay.
Like I try to ask questions that I know that people are wondering that they're too afraid to ask.
Mm,
Like one time I asked why we only get 10-minute breaks instead of 15-minute breaks.
what'd they say?
well, yeah,
It
what was the answer?
answer I can't. It
It wasn't memorable.
wasn't memorable. It was, but for the wrong reasons. So, um, but yeah. So yeah, I try to ask questions that really, and like the last time I asked a question, I think I asked, um, if there was like a backup plan or some sort of like a fund just in case the economy goes down, like what's the plan? Can we expect to keep our jobs? Like, have you had any mass layoffs or whatever like that? And they've never laid off a single person. So,
Wow.
so yeah, and they've always like been able to keep above water during the hard times. So, yeah, that was a like, and that sparked like four different other questions from people afterwards, and that's exactly what I wanted it to do. So,
Yeah, that's good. It shows that they're able to, their feet's not in the fire at the moment, but at least you can ask it in a way of, if this comes up,
yeah.
what are you gonna do?
I mean, there's no question that the economy is a fucking like seesaw, you know? So,
Hmm.
Right. So,
How
Becca,
do you
what's your
plan to
why?
weather the storm?
what's what?
What's your why? I got Ryan's and they totally spaced. What's your why?
Oh, I was gonna say that you probably shouldn't ask me that question.
Okay, wanna what should I ask you? Let's see. What is your end goal?
No, no, no. Okay, let's start with the actual question. Like, what was the first question? It was the
It's who you are, why you're here, and how you'll make a difference.
okay, who I am. I'm Becca. Why I'm here. I'm here because I lied to a professor in college and told her I knew how to do pottery. And that's it. And because I didn't take engineering classes,
Well, why do you create what you create?
because I'm good at it.
Yeah, you are. You're really good at it.
Because I'm not dumb enough to realize that, like, even though it might not be my favorite thing, it's something that I'm extremely good at, and it's something that I can make money at, and I like it enough to do that.
Okay, now let's dig a little deeper. Why do you like creating anything?
Hmm. It involves less brain power than the other things.
Because you're naturally creative, then? It
Yeah,
just
yeah,
comes to you?
yeah, maybe.
Lucky? Man, I suck. I like struggle. I'm like, oh, how do I do this? What am I going to create? And it just comes naturally to you? That's awesome.
But also, I think it's because, like, you know, I've been told a lot that I have a lot of potential. And, like, man, if you just actually did what, like, if you actually just tried, you'd be amazing. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But
You
also,
are amazing. You don't have to try. You are.
thanks. But I also, like, I don't know, I have a weird brain that, like, if I tried to do anything, I could succeed in it. But that's, I haven't really found it. Like pottery is the closest thing I've found to being like, um, I'm fine with doing it long term.
Do you like the tactile experience of it?
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. Like, if I didn't have it, I wouldn't miss it, I don't think. Like, if I could create something without tactile experiences, I would be fine still.
Well, you were doing your paintings. You still doing your paintings?
Well, I can't do anything right now because I can't hold a brush. But once
You
I
can
get
learn left-handed.
She's
that,
gonna have to. She's got to do stuff with her right hand surgery coming up this week, within the week.
yeah, on Friday. So, yep, I've been waiting for this day for a very long time. A very long
I'm
time.
I'm curious if the tactile nature will shift as if it's gonna feel like a reset with your hand where you're just like you've got like a
Oh.
second life with your hand,
I know, I'm kind of curious about that too. Like,
or
if
is
it
that putting too much pressure on it?
maybe it's gonna be great?
Yeah, because I mean you've basically been living with chronic pain in your at least in your hands. I'm sure other places too for years. And it's
Yeah,
just
like
like,
10 years.
that's just the threshold of like that's your baseline now.
Yeah.
I had a physical therapist tell me this last week. Um, we shift uh, as human beings when one area of our body hurts, and we're trying to we overcompensate like for another area. So when your hands hurting so bad, where did you overcompensate to? Was it like your shoulders or your back or
Yeah, definitely shoulders and back for sure.
so then when you're not in pain, do you think that you'd be more willing to create because you're no longer in pain?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I do feel like it almost feels like a fate in the sense that I haven't been able to do anything because I was so burned out for such a long time that this has given me like an appropriate amount of time not to do anything. So it kind of feels exciting to do something again, maybe, you know? So, yeah.
Well, I can speak from having several of your pieces because I love your stuff. And my kids fight over who gets to have them, and I'm like, hello, it's mine.
As long as they
Um,
don't break it.
right? Well, my youngest is like, well, I'm just gonna put my jewelry in it right here. And I was like, but it's mine. Um, what you create is amazing, and you pour so much love and creativity into it that people who receive your pieces feel it. So you're a natural creator. And maybe you're not so happy creating because it hurts so bad right now to create.
Yeah, it might be that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's, like I said, I could have done a lot of things, and this is what I chose. And so, you know, this is what I chose.
You're just badass. It's okay to own that you're badass, Becca.
Yeah, I
Use that
always
name
said
tag,
that.
badass Becca.
I always think I kind of wanted to be an industrial designer, and this is the closest thing to that without that degree.
Dude, when I get a house, you could totally help me decorate my house 100% for real. Because I am not, I'm like, I don't know what to put on the wall. I could carve into a pot. Do not ask me to decorate a wall.
Yeah.
Although Ryan's walls look
That
amazing.
that's Rachel. That's mostly Rachel.
To be fair, that's my painting right behind Ryan,
This
so
is all Rachal. Yeah, that's Becca's
That's
painting right
your
there.
painting,
Well,
Becca?
she
That's
did. I don't
you?
know that she actually painted it.
didn't
She
make it, I
she
bought
bought
it.
it. Yeah.
Well, good
But
taste.
all of the design in our house, that's all Rachel.
Yeah.
I don't care about to that extent.
See, I'm like, I need another shelf for mugs. I need another shelf for bowls. How many Hazela
Yeah.
bags I have? Don't ask. Don't ask, okay? Because each Hazela bag has a different thing that goes with it. And they're all
Yeah.
hanging on my wall right now. That's about my extent of decoration.
That's okay.
Nice.
I wish I was more creative. So,
I think you're creative. You just maybe have a different type of creativity, you know?
thank you. Yes, I do. I can create on clay. The basics. But I cannot decorate a house for the life of me. I've tried.
I think sometimes too we like when you're so like around people that are creative, you kind of feel like you're not as creative as others because you're just in the presence of so much creativity that
Yeah.
your creativity to an average person that doesn't do anything tactile or creative, then they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're an artist. That's amazing."
I literally had, so I did the presentation at ClayCon West, and I had somebody whom I know uh, that I was talking to, and I was like, I hope people got what I was hoping they would get from it. And he's like, why do you always do that false modesty thing? And I was like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, you know what you're doing. You don't need to be like false modest. I was like, I have like imposter syndrome. Like, you guys are big name people. For me in my world, I'm like, you're amazing. Being able to talk to you too, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a huge honor. But like, it's not false, it's not fake, but we all have that. I feel like when we get in that creative group, we all have that, oh my gosh, do I belong here? Do I
Yeah.
actually belong here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it like brings you together at some place like in Sika or ClayCon, but also it makes you feel smaller because you're like, I'm not as creative as that person, or ooh, I wish I could present at some point, or ooh, I want people to want to handle my work like they're handling that person's work in the artist's place, in the artist room. But I don't know. I just feel like it's more beneficial to just compare yourself to yourself. Are you progressing or are you not? Are you like
My comparison is
living a life you want or not? Are you moving in a direction that you want to be living or not?
right.
And
Mine
can
is,
you?
am I gonna
Yeah.
live through the presentation or am I going to die? But
Yeah, you'll get through it. You got through it?
I did. I was like, can I speak for this long on the same subject? I can apparently. We segued a few times, but I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
it's because
So
amazing people like you. So
so to wrap up today, we're gonna put the documents on our website. We'll link to them there so people can look up some of these 6 questions. We've got the grants by state, so you can look up the different art organizations in your state. There's a good handout there that Laura prepared and gave out at ClayCon West. So we'll put that up on our website. And Laura, appreciate your time, all of your insights. It's making me feel better about applying for that apprenticeship grant. So I'm gonna
Do
do that. And
it.
I might reach out to you once I get it like
Please do.
feeling good. It's due at the end of March, so we'll see. I feel like I'm in a good time period to figure it out.
You are. And
Just
I'm
gotta
willing to
make
answer any questions you guys have. So,
nice.
like,
Cool. Thanks.
you're
Awesome.
welcome.
So if people want to find you online or wherever, where do you want them to go?
Right now, for Instagram, it's just IB Laura for Instagram. I know it's super easy. Um, because I was like, "Hmm, who's gonna want to go to like a artist side of mine?" But like, I don't have an artist side of mine. They could go to Call Me Crazy, but that does not get updated as often as Ivy Laura. And then I have a Call Me Crazy website, callmecrazy.com, because that is my business name. So,
Nice. And that's IB Laura, exactly how it sounds on Instagram.
IBELAURA. Yep.
Yep. All right, Laura, thank you so much.
Thank
Folks
you.
will get a lot of value out of this.
Yes, thank
Get
you.
your
Hopefully.
get your
Woo!
grants in, or at least get the homework in. You got homework. Everybody's got homework. Doesn't
If
hurt to
you
get
know
that
your
stuff.
why, if you know your why, it's so much easier to go from there. It
Yeah,
really is.
this sounds a lot easier to just go into any grant. So I've got my homework. All right.
Sweet.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
All
Take
right.
care,
Bye.
you guys. I gotta go take care.
Hey, all. Thank you for listening to the show. And we also want to thank Lindy and Ashley for all their help with everything that they've done over the years for Whale Talk. They are our Instagram heroes, and they answer all your questions and then send them to us if we need to. And we also want to thank you for listening and also participating. If you want to support our show, the best way to do that is to send us questions and to review us on whichever platform you are. So we haven't had very many reviews so far. I mean, you can even leave us a bad review. We'll make fun of you, but you can. And sending us questions always helps us with every episode that we do so that we can make it the best that we can. I hope you enjoyed the episode today, and I hope you enjoy this season.